I mean, the intellectually, it is mind-blowing to imagine not only the trip that this rover has done, but also the command from Earth. It takes, I think, 11 minutes for an order to leave Earth and get to Mars. So that's mind-blowing. On the other side, I was pretty disgusted by the images. I mean, Mars is not very appealing. It's not really a place where you want to go. I mean, the first images, and I was thinking
they're black and white. The first images.
Yeah, but Elon Musk wants us to move there and create life again, and I think he's a bit out of his mind.
Were you inspired, Ana Navarro Pedro?
Yes, of course. It makes always one dream about it, but you can also think about the real politics behind the geopolitical issues. You can also think about something. They want us to move to Mars, okay, because Earth has become kind of a dustbin where you can't breathe, you can't grow vegetables. Why don't we put some effort in cleaning up our little beautiful blue planet and, and some less money on Mars? And it's getting crowded up there. Can you imagine? The Chinese are going to send also a rover on Mars. Can you imagine that Americans have put 5 of them over there, or are about to put the 5th over there? Can you imagine when you have the first car crash on Mars between a rover, an American rover, and the Chinese rover? Wait for it.
Wait for it. Noor, Ibrahim, are you waiting for it? Is this about flag waving, as it was a little bit, by the way, during the space race of the 1960s?
Of course.
Or is this, that Star Trek kind of kumbaya humanity looking to exceed itself?
I think every country has its own set of goals when it comes to this. I think with China, for example, they're taking a very nationalistic approach. They rival the U.S. here, so they're rivaling the U.S. in Mars. And in terms of like the UAE, for example, they are trying to, turn into a technological and science hub. And what better way to do that than to engage in a project like this?
Yeah, because we had the last couple of weeks, there was Tianwen-1, I think it's pronounced. I hope I pronounced it okay, Pierre, former Beijing correspondent. And that mission by the UAE. Noor, what was your thoughts on the fact that the UAE is getting interested in space?
I think they're really trying to pull in their young people and get them interested in the hard sciences. This is a compelling notion for everyone. And I think the fact that when you consider the past year that we've had, it's kind of some good old escapism and just a good way to invest in future, science and technological projects.
Emmanuel Macron, the French president, watching from the French National Space Agency Thursday's landing. Macron cheering, a bit of nationalism here. French engineering with the geological tool SuperCam, essential to the mission. Again, there's a lot of flag waving, Judah Grunstein.
I think that you mentioned that we haven't seen this sort of attention since the 60s space programs, but I don't think that's really the case. I remember as a kid at school, we were brought down to an assembly to watch the space shuttle's first return from its first mission. And we saw over the past few years some of the missions to touch down on asteroids, which are moving targets, and then some of the captivating and viral videos that come from the space station. I think that Noor made a really good point. Part of the flag waving depends on where a country is in its space program. For the United States, which has such an advanced program, it's less of a jingoistic experience and more of a fascination. I think for countries that are making their first achievements in terms of spacefaring and space exploration and research and science, there's definitely that sense of national pride, that sense of, we're not just watching from the sidelines, we're actually in this game. I think there's that element as well.
And to Ana Navarro Pedro's point that this really could be dubbed Operation Planet B.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I think
didn't go that far.
I wouldn't go that far. I think that what Pierre said is true. It's not a very hospitable climate or landscape. At the same time, I think we're all a little bit jealous of these Mars rovers to be able to get away from Earth a little bit.
Especially